Hello and welcome back to Dogs Do Speak with the fabulous Colin Spence and myself, Samantha Wayland. You probably all recognise our guest today, the amazing Adam Daines. Daines? I've probably said that wrong and you're going to be really annoyed with
No,
me. Sorry,
Danes is good.
Daines. I'm going to let him introduce himself because the list is too long for me to read. But as you all know, he is the father of dad jokes on Facebook. So, Adam, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Well, firstly, thank you very much for the invite and having us on. Lovely to be here.
Oh, you're more
Um,
welcome.
where do I start? I suppose I better go right back at the beginning. So the way that I got into dog training was my or the family dog, our first dog when I was 14. So I pestered and pestered and pestered for a dog. Parents finally caved. We got a German Shepherd, which probably wasn't the best first time dog. However, my mum had shepherds in the past. When she was growing up as well. So it was kind of like if we were going to get a dog, it was going to be a shepherd. And he really kind of opened my eyes and I got the bug from training. We took him to training classes. So at the time I lived in Durham, which is where kind of the accent comes from. It's been watered down since, but um, started in Durham and then we used to drive. Back then there wasn't really as many classes as there are now. So we went from Durham to Sunderland like probably about a 40-minute drive, 50-minute drive to a village hall, ex-police dog trainer. Methods back then were probably quite progressive at the time, but still looking back now, we would see them as pretty archaic. Um, and lots of check chain use, lots of if the dog is pulling forward, pull them back, and I was this kind of scrawny 14-year-old kid trying to pull this massive like 30, 40 kilo German Shepherd around. It was never going to work. And I just got interested in training and doing stuff, and we used to go out on walks after school and stuff, and it just me and him, and I loved it. And so by the time the school years ended and I was 16, I really kind of had an inclination that I wanted to do something down the animal route. Unfortunately, there was a land-based college which was offering a national diploma in animal management nearby. So I did the BTEC in that, studied there for 2 years. And then from that point went on to Bishop Burton College when I was 18, did 3 years. So I did a foundation degree and then did a top up with the applied animal behavior and training degree as well. And then just purely by luck, all the family by that point had moved down south to kind of the Bath area, which is now where I now run everything. And purely by luck, my brother used to work with somebody who ran dog training classes in a local village hall in Bath. And he said, "Oh, they're looking for somebody to help out if you want to go." So yeah, fine. And I walked in, sat in, watched, and it was an APDT trainer as well, which is where that kind of journey began, which we'll probably come across at some point, I'd imagine, in the chat. And so really just lucky, just a string of luck to get into places that ended up being able to sit in on classes. And God, I spent um probably two lots of classes, so no, three lots of classes. So what's that? 18 weeks. I just sat in, watched, helped out, got water, cleaned up after dog mess, and just absorbed as much information as I could. And then there was one day where I was just sat there, and I really credit the trainer called Wendy Dell. She's fantastic. And one day it was a brand new class, and one day she just went, "Oh, Adam's taking your class today." Didn't tell me anything about it leading up to that point. And after the lesson, I asked, and she said, "Look, if I'd have told you last week, you'd have just worked yourself up this whole week." She said, "You know the work, you know the information, you know how to run things. You've been helping out for weeks. The best thing for you was to be put on the spot and do that." And so she read that really, really well, and kind of reading people is then something that I learned from that as well. Anyway, cut to doing the first class, and you get that massive euphoric buzz of just, I've done it. It was stressful, but that was amazing. I want to do more of it. And then carried on doing classes there. And then 2010, um, I set the business up, Avon Dog Services, which is now turned 15 was 15 in April.
Amazing.
So I've done such a lot and I'm only 25. It's amazing.
See, I
Wow.
was going to say, well done having a college next to you like that.
Oh,
When I was
amazing.
16, my college I think offered BTECs in woodwork, and hair and beauty, and that was about it.
Yeah, I've
So,
just been so
which do you
fortunate,
want?
so lucky. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We're finding more and more colleges now are offering some kind of industry type work, dog walking,
Yeah.
grooming,
Brilliant.
training. So times are changing, which is
Yeah.
good.
Brilliant.
Times are changing, which is really, really good. So
Absolutely.
Adam, that is really, really good stuff because when I first started out, there was nothing like that
Yeah.
apart from your prong collars, your choke
Yeah.
chains, and your
Yeah.
e-collars. That was all that.
Yeah.
So you had a choice of one of three. And I don't mind saying here, I come from the balance side, and I've never looked back since. I don't know what a prong collar, not a prong, a choke chain looks like anymore. Yeah,
Good.
couldn't tell you what
Good.
one looks like because we're now living with the shock and the
Yeah.
prongs, aren't we?
Yeah.
So once you started up your own little business, did you have anything in mind that you were going to concentrate on more on the training side?
Oh, good question. So I pretty much went into it. Um, I was doing when I was doing the training at the village hall and under Bath Dog Training Club. Um, I was just working like little jobs, bit of labouring here and there, and then there came a point where I did a ski season. So I was a chalet host for a season, and that was in like 2009, 2010. And then when I got back, I was like, right, when I get back from the season, that's going to be it now for me. That's going to be full time into the dog world. So I really didn't have anything in mind as to what I wanted to specialize in, other than I just need to make sure I pay the bills. So pretty much any work that came in, any distance, any area, I would be like, okay, is this in my skill set? Can I do that? Yeah, I'll do it. And if I couldn't, I would try and help out and try and say, well, look, these are the bits you could try, but you're going to need to find a behaviorist who can help with that. Because at the time, whilst I had the behavior degree, didn't really have that much of the confidence and the hands-on knowledge to tackle the really kind of severe cases. And so I just kind of left that and just went, all right, well, there's a loose lead, a person who needs loose lead, like, I don't know, 40 miles away. Yeah, I'll do that. Fine. So sometimes it would cost us more in fuel than it would in the actual session, but it was fine because I got my hands dirty. I got the skill set. So yeah, I didn't have a specific kind of drive or goal as to what I wanted to niche or specialize in. I was just open to everything, and then just finding what flows and finding what suits, and as long as I could help people and then help the dogs and pay bills, I was happy.
That's really, really interesting. Something you just said, if for anyone watching this, it's very important that we do think about skill set, our own skill set, so that we're not venturing into territory that we're going to make ourselves feel like we're not good enough. Always refer that on. So I'm really pleased that you mentioned that, Adam, because some trainers feel that because of peer pressure within the industry, that they have to take it on, otherwise they're not going to be good enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm glad you sort of mentioned that.
yeah.
So
No, it's really, really important because that can knock your confidence for weeks or sometimes months, or even can put you out the game altogether.
100%, and imposter syndrome is something in my eyes that comes to us all from time to time.
Yeah, still, even now, I get it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because it happens to me too. I'm sure Sam will also say the same.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No one is free from imposter syndrome.
It's
However,
actually really nice to hear both of you saying that, because I would look at both of you as very confident, well known, way up there trainers. So whenever you hear trainers that are of your level, I don't want to inflate either of your egos anymore. But when you hear people at your level also saying that, you're like, oh, okay, so it's all right for me to still have doubts as
100%.
well, because you do just sometimes you have that day where you're just like, I just I don't know, am I cut out for this? And then I'll give myself a slap and I'll be back
Yeah,
to it.
exactly that. Exactly that. I think if you don't have imposter syndrome, there's bigger problems going on there, personally. I think everybody should, not so much they should doubt themselves, but if you get to the point where you do doubt yourself, then it's trying to think what the graph is, the Dunning-Kruger, where
yeah,
you know a lot, and
Yeah.
you know very little, but your confidence is sky high. And as
Yes.
you start to learn loads of stuff, you go, Jesus, I don't know anything that I thought I
It
knew.
is every time I do a course, I'm like, I know nothing. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
absolutely nothing.
And then that I think that bit when you come out the other side, I think you will never get to the same level of confidence you will when you didn't know anything. You'll never reach that. You'll always be slightly under. But that's for me, I think that's the good thing because the minute that I think that I know everything is the minute that I will stop training and I will just retire because there is absolutely no way I can know everything about every avenue of every single dog out there and exercises, games, techniques, methods. You just can't. You can't
Yeah.
know everything. So it's okay not to know things.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. I think it's actually the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm like you, Adam. If the day comes that I feel or think I know everything, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at the industry and training in itself is that there is no one way of doing something, providing we stick to humane and
Yeah.
ethical approaches. Yeah,
Agreed. Yeah.
uh,
Totally.
the trainer may train loosely walking that way, and may have 10 different ways of doing it. We may come along and add another three or four on
Yeah.
top of. So long as we stay within our skill set, stay within our lane, and appreciate how lucky we are to work with dogs,
Yeah.
uh, I think all should be well.
It's in.
But
Yeah.
you're not just a trainer; you're also a behaviourist.
Yeah. I am.
Out of the two, which do you prefer?
Ooh, um, I find myself with my behavior hat on more than my trainer hat on. And even if I'm doing a training exercise, there's always that little kind of thought in my mind. It's like, is this potentially a behavioral thing we need to look at that's affecting training? Maybe. So I spend more time with my behavior hat on, and I actually like that because that keeps us thinking, it keeps us kind of working through and problem solving, and I kind of like that little bit where we get a breakthrough. It might not be the first attempt. We might have to go through a couple of different avenues, and you never get it right immediately at the first try, but you can start working on process of elimination. And then when we've cracked it, and the owner sees that as well, and their little light bulb goes off, that's the sweet spot for me. That's the bit that I really, really enjoy. Is just kind of problem solving, picking things apart, and then getting to a point that is actually going to work for the dog and the human at the other end of the lead as well. So behaviorally, probably I'd say is the biggie for me. But I do love the training as well, especially the puppies. I mean, who doesn't love training puppies?
Oh, I hate training puppies.
Do you?
I love puppies. I love puppies. Training puppies. I'm just like, oh my lord. I don't have
As
the
in what? As in
energy.
teaching puppy classes?
I don't do puppy classes. Oh no,
Right.
absolutely no,
Wow.
no way. God no.
Wow. Oh
Oh my,
God.
all my clients will be looking at me going, no, she definitely does not do puppy classes.
Ah. Excellent. That's nice though. That's nice that I've never known anybody who because playing with puppies is mint, isn't it? It's
I
brilliant.
love
It's
playing with
great.
puppies. Trying to get a room of puppies to do anything. It's like, oh Lord, no.
Ah. Well, yeah, we had to change our puppy classes to the more of the socialization and resilience and confidence building rather than the specific tasks
Yeah.
because actually, they need that more than the task-driven stuff in the early stages. But also, it's much more free, much more relaxed, and the dogs can kind of do a bit more exploring rather than be constantly asked to do stuff. So yeah, but that was really surprising. I've not.
Yeah.
You're the first. Yeah.
Times are changing, Adam, in this industry where the higher percentage are female and the lowest percentage are men. And like you, I love working with puppies.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's when I can just relax, be myself,
Mhm.
roll around on the floor, get licky faced, stroke
Brilliant.
puppies. And if they're rotty puppies, even better.
Brilliant. It's nice because especially if you do a lot of behavior work and it's quite some of the stuff's quite heavy going and emotionally draining. And so having that, if you're just in that category all the time, it's going to be really mentally depleting for a trainer or a behaviorist to do just that. So having that nice blend of training and puppies where it's a little bit more fun, free and relaxed, still some guidance and stuff, but a little bit more relaxed where your brain isn't just constantly being kind of taxed, then It's a nice, yeah. I'd probably do like, I'd probably say 60, no, 70, 30, 70 behavior, 30 of the puppy and the training and the general
Mhm.
like APDT classes and stuff. And that for me is nice because it's a nice,
Mm.
yeah, not to say that that's any less complicated. It's just, it's less emotionally draining and
Yeah.
emotionally taxing as well. So I've still got to save a bit of that to get home and look after little and live life and, you know, everything else. So you've got to save yourself as well.
I agree with you on that one as well. One of the reasons why I enjoy relaxing and letting my hair down, the hair I don't have, yeah, is is so that I can also help the owners, the guardians, to see how they should also be with their pups.
Brilliant.
Yeah? Allowing them to be the puppies growing into adolescents, growing into adults. If they can have fun at such an early age and have a rock solid relationship with their owners, yeah, hopefully rescues won't be so full up. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned, let me see if I can get this right. APDT. There's so many of them,
Oh,
I
there
get them all
is.
wrong. How did you get into the APDT stuff?
So that was back right from when I started just shadowing classes. One of the
Mhm.
trainers there was it. It wasn't an APDT run club, but one of the trainers, Wendy, was an APDT member, and she had been for years. And so they have a code of conduct. They have a code of practice, which I was already on board with. I think just naturally the way that I was and the way that I kind of was around animals and dogs anyway. I think I kind of had an affinity to that anyway, so it just made sense. And then as I set my business up, because as we've probably spoke about in different podcasts, the level of qualifications that you need is zero to become a dog trainer. And so I just thought, well, if I'm going to do it, at least want to be part of something that is striving for, you know, if it ever gets regulated, they're striving for that. Whether that ever happens, I don't know. But they're lined up with my ethos, my how I already ran things and code of conduct and code of practice. So it seemed like the logical next step, really.
Okay. But you touched on the topic that, I think that the industry's been talking about a lot, especially, say, probably in the last 8 years, 10 years,
Yeah.
is the fact that it's unregulated and anybody can call themselves a dog trainer.
Yeah.
What's your stance on that, if you have one?
In terms of whether we should be legislating it or
Whether,
not.
yeah, whether we should be regulated, are you happy with the fact that anyone can just call themselves a dog trainer? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really dangerous t not so much time, but it's really dangerous um point at which we can then do because I watched something the other day, or I saw something online where it was like you pay £25 and you become a certified trainer in a week. And that is really, really damaging for the industry as a whole. So, I think if we're going to do it, we need to start looking at people who are offering courses or offering, to be a dog trainer is what their accreditations are first. I mean, this is massive. I mean, then I think actually no, because then what we need to do is do this first, or then what we need to do is this first. But the problem is with the regulation is that who's going to govern that regulation? Who's going to be the governing body on that? And then you've got the whole categories of different types of trainers and their organizations, and they're all going to fight for, well, our way is the best, so you've got to do it this way. And I know this is really pessimistic, but I just don't think it's ever gonna become regulated. Just can't see how everybody's gonna meet, unless it's just a kind of the UK government kicks in and just says, right, this is how it's going to be. It doesn't matter if you're upset about that or not. This is how we're going to do it. I think that is the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't see all of the other organizations meeting at a point where there will be something that's standardized for all dog trainers to have to go through.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for them to bring anything in, there would have to be a law one way or the other to say shock collars,
Yeah.
or prong collars, these aversive things they're either illegal or they're absolutely not. They would have to be one or the other for the government, or for there to be a legislation saying you have to have these qualifications, you have to abide by these rules to
Yeah.
be a dog trainer or a dog behaviourist. So they would have to sort of start, in my eyes, I think probably with that, would make their
Yeah.
mind up on that, and then, but like you said, who regulates? Who has the final say of, okay, these four letters, they are the governing body, and
Yeah,
these four
exactly.
letters have the same principles, they are not,
Yeah.
and only these qualifications will count, and these ones that you've spent thousands of pounds on won't count. And yeah, it's a minefield, isn't it? It's
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. The other thing that I would always advise owners do is to look at look at their accreditations, because there are some good accreditations out there, but you can get them with just like a weekend of training, and
mm,
so it doesn't necessarily mean that you might have been sat in a classroom for the whole weekend. You might have learnt loads, but have you had the chance to apply it? So I'd always look for things about trying to how you apply all of the knowledge that you had, because ultimately we can tell an owner what to do, or a guardian. I say owner, but I mean guardian, caregiver. My brain has just always been owner. So however you describe yourself to dogs, that's what owner means, basically. Um, and so, I've lost my track now. I've lost my train of thought.
you can tell them that they
And
might
so
be
the
doing a
hands-on,
classroom, but
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
just a
So the
dog.
hands-on skills has to be improved by the trainer first to then be able to hand over. And
Mm,
for a lot of my clients, they are visual learners, so they have to see the exercise being displayed or demoed before they then hand over. And I'm the same. I like to see things to understand it properly. I can read stuff and I can listen to stuff like podcasts and stuff, but I actually need to see the
yeah,
thing happening, or I need to take that information and actually start to practice it with one of my dogs and just see whether it works, or whether I need to tweak it or add it something in or take something out. And then I feel comfortable then to demoing it with a client, because I've had the chance to practice it personally. And I think that's sometimes the bit where the theory side of things is great, but the practical application is maybe lacking. And so I think a lot of these things should have some, certainly like courses, even online courses. I work for the Victoria Stilwell Academy, and I'm one of their faculty advisors. And in their course, it's a 6-month course, but in the course, they have to get hands on dogs. They have to video their training. They have to then send that over to one of the faculty advisors, and then they look through it, sign off, say, "Yep, that's good," or "What could you have done different?" So these guys get hands on as well as the theory as well, which for me, I think is the biggie. Theory's great, but practical and hands-on stuff is really, really important for owners, for trainers even, just to get their hands on and get their muscle memory and skill set up.
Again, you've hit on a very important part, and it's theory. Theory is important, 100%, but practical. You can read and do all the courses you like, but if we're not good at applying it, putting it together,
Yeah,
that's where people sometimes fall, and that's where imposter syndrome starts to hit people.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I agree.
you think, oh, I've read that book, that's great. Oh, I've done this course, it's taken me a year and a half to do it, blah, 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 blah. I'm a dog trainer, I'm a behaviorist, etc., etc., etc. And then you pick up the phone, hello, yeah, I'll book you in, I'll come and sit. And you get there and you are stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, stuck.
yeah.
Adam, you mentioned a very, very wonderful name, very well known person, Victoria Stilwell. That doesn't leave much to the imagination of what I'm going to ask next. Because whenever I get to see you, it's on a screen.
Yeah.
How did that all come about for you?
To be part of the academy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Um, so it was actually through Joe Pear at Standish Dog Trainer. Um, so Joe had been running the VSA in person stuff with Vic. So every year they'd have a new intake of students, roughly 15 students, and they would spend 2 1-week sessions up at Wigan, hands on, getting hands dirty with dogs and practicing pretty much the whole week was bits of theory, but lots of practical and hands-on skills. Um, and it was I don't know whether it was by chance. I don't know whether it was just because I was there. Again, I feel like I've been very lucky in my in my career. Maybe it's because the harder I work, the luckier I got. Maybe I don't know. I'm in the right place at the right time because I'm always busy doing something. But um, Jo's fantastic at well, lots of things, but she does agility and rally.
Mhm.
And I wanted to learn a little bit more about agility. So me and actually my student at the time from the VSA. So I'd had a student currently, or currently had a student, and I was chatting to her and I was like, I'm quite interested in this. Do you want to go up? So we drove up to Wigan and back in the day, in a day. But on that day, she said, "Oh, by the way, Vic wants to know if you'd be up for doing a little bit more work with the um and by then I'd only spoke to Vic on the phone or like a Zoom, and Joe was like, "Would you like to take a role in the in-person stuff?" And that immediately I was about to say no because I was just like, I can't, I'm not. Imposter syndrome kicked in straight away. I was like, I shouldn't really, I don't. And it was Mel who was stood next to us, who was my student, and I was coaching her through the course, and she went, "Just yes, just say yes." And I went, well, yeah, all right, yeah, let's do it. And that was the push I needed. And that was it. But even back then, I potentially would have said no, which is, looking back now, would have been the worst thing I'd have ever done. But just having somebody to go, you can do this, you're all right, you've got it. And then, yeah, from there, we just kind of went on. So I shadowed the first intensive, just sat in watching how it went. And then the year after, then I was then helping out with the role from there. And then it went they've done an online option now as well. So I'm now a faculty advisor for online students, which you don't know where they're going to come from. They could come from all over the world, and you get to meet them online, chat, talk them through the course, help them, coach them, guide them, assess their videos, really gives them some extra help and hands-on skills, and get them through the course. So yeah, that's that side of things, like the coaching and the training and the help's fantastic, but it's done under an umbrella where it's all structured as well. So that's kind of what I like about the process.
And
So
then
you,
from that, did that then lead on to the Dog Academy, the TV show? Did that sort of just automatically lead on from there?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. So of all of the so I think Vic would had a chat with the company and threw out a load of names. And then the company did their own research for lots of other trainers as well. So I think out of about there was about six, maybe 800 trainers who had applied. And we all had to do a video. We all had to chat to one of the production team. We all had to do some videos of us training and send that in for them then to look and then assess. And then once the production team were happy with the people who they were going to choose, they then sent that up to Channel 4. And then Channel 4 looked into whether those people were all going to be good trainers. And then that's where the decision came. So yeah, again, very fortunate.
I would like to be wearing your shoes from now on, so don't throw them away.
Yeah, it's the lucky claw I've got in my pocket. That's all.
It just goes to show, really, the more we are out and seen, the more we mix with the right people. When I say the right people, ethical people, people that do things the right way, you never know what luck can come from that.
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's it.
I've not been fortunate to be on TV, but I've been fortunate to work with people or be recommended to go do some social, not social work stuff. Oh God, what's those people called when they go and interview people about children? They may take the children away.
Oh yeah, like a social services type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only recently I had a good win where I've been asked to go and assess a dog going into a home. So
Oh,
I thought, wow.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So if we are out there and doing things the right way with the right attitude, you never know what will
Yeah,
come your way.
absolutely. Yeah.
But how do you find being on the program? It must be absolutely fantastic.
You think so? I really struggled. I really struggled.
Is it
So
long? Is it a lot? It looks like it's probably a long, long days.
yeah, there's like four days. We filmed for 4 days a week for a month,
Oof.
or just over a month, and they were like got there about 8, sometimes finishing at 8 in the evening. Um, yeah, a lot long days, and for me, I really struggled in front of the camera. When I first turned up, I didn't know really what I was expecting. I was just expecting like because you get this big manor house, and we'd never seen any of that until we pretty much drove up on the day to do some like rehearsal stuff. We got there and it was like a proper setup. Like there was cameras rigged up everywhere. And I just thought, oh my God, this is like a proper production thing. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't that. And I was just immediately thrown, and I just thought, oh my God. And then suddenly you start overthinking. You're like, oh my God, all these cameras. What if I say something wrong and I don't have a chance to then go back over it? I got inside my own head straight away. Anyway, kind of worked through that process, but it definitely comes across on camera where the stuff that I do on my socials, I'm a bit more relaxed because I can
Yeah.
always edit it, clip it, crop it, whatever. But with that in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, oh God, I've worked for like 12, 13 years on this business. What if they clip something that I said, which was completely out of context, to put it into the show? And that could be the end. So gradually I just started to eat myself up inside about it, and it just got in I just got in my own head about it. So yeah, I really struggled. I mean, fortunately the rest of the team were fantastic and carried the whole thing. But yeah, once I got the dog in front of us and the training, fine, I could kind of forget about what was going on. But it was that, and it was that like if they hadn't got the right angle, they go, oh, can we just redo that? And you're like, well, it looks a bit unauthentic now, doesn't it? Because I've already done it once and now I've got to try and do it again. And then, yeah, just the stop starts and it breaks the flow of the training. And yeah, it was really, really difficult for me. So, yeah.
In that case, then, when you are finished with your shoes, you can throw them away.
We've changed our minds.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's amazing, really. I've watched it. I love it. I love all of you that are on it. But I would never have thought that was going through your mind.
Oh, really?
No,
Not in a
yeah.
million
Oh, okay.
years. Okay? Which just goes to show that, for people that are watching this, that feel that way, have felt that way, and will feel that way in the future, it comes to all of us.
Yeah,
It comes to all of us. Yeah.
yeah,
And if I, sat here and could go through all the times I have felt like you, Adam, yeah, yet it's not even on a TV show set in someone's kitchen,
yeah,
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 out in the public footway doing whatever we're doing or in a class setting. I felt that way many a time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I will say I met both Joe and Victoria at the ABK conference earlier this year, and they're both annoyingly nice. I was just like, please just can you be horrible or
They're
something? But anyway,
lovely.
Victoria, when she came off from doing her talk, her presentation, she was like, I was really nervous. She came over to our team. I was really nervous about doing that because I thought, am I going to offend people with some of the things I said? And I was just sitting there going, wait, you were nervous? You
Yeah,
were nervous? So it
yeah,
does, like
crazy.
everybody does get that feeling, don't they? Which is nice.
100%. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
human. We're all human. And
yeah,
nice people will feel that way because they
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyone that is too overly confident, they're not for me.
Another trainer who's part of the VSA as well, Brad and Lisa Wagoner. Brad,
Yes.
fantastic. And Brad said something ages ago that stuck with us, and he said the nerves are the respect you give to your audience. And I absolutely love that
Yeah.
because it means that you're not just going in blasé like, oh, I'm just gonna wing this or just gonna, you're actually saying, I want to make sure I get this right for these people who are in front of us. And so that it's such a perfect statement when you spoke about it. And this was probably 5 years ago, and I've constantly thought about it since.
Mm. No, that's
Brad and Lisa Wagner. Oh my God. Those two will never know how much I adore the pair of them.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yeah, don't get to enough. Don't get enough to. Don't get enough to see them, or don't see enough
Mm,
of them, I should say.
yeah.
Whenever they crop up on my newsfeed where someone's doing a live chat with them, I will watch that repetitively.
Yeah.
They are just absolute gurus of this
They're
industry.
brilliant. They complement each other so well. Yeah, brilliant. Just sitting and chatting to them is fantastic.
I
About
can be,
anything. Not even dog training, just about anything. It's fantastic.
I can see them right here now. Actually,
Oh,
this
yeah.
right, and Brad on the left with his hat, uh, talking away. They're amazing. They make you feel like you need to be in this industry just to go and see them or hear them talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
we don't get to see enough of them. So you've done your VSA. You're on the TV. Why do I keep thinking it's Channel 5? It's Channel 4, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. Not five, Channel 4.
It's not Big Brother.
um, and then those long days must be very, very weary and draining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to, although we love what we do, it can be stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm only talking about an hour
Yeah.
and not having far to drive. So, what were your family and friends like? Oh, were they asking for autographs and
So I've only ever been asked for one autograph. And it was my cousin who does a lot of send work or work with like special education needs, and one of the people she was working with was like, "Oh God, I love this program," and she said, "Oh well, that's my cousin," and then her little face lit up, and she said, "Can you get an autograph?" So we went down for her wedding, and she brought a picture of like the headshot of me, and I had to sign it, which felt really surreal. Unfortunately, the only time I've ever had to do it. So yeah, other than that, no. I've still managed to stay kind of under the radar. I don't get stopped in the street. I don't get kind of asked for pictures or autographs or anything, which is good. I can kind of fly under the radar, which is nice. But yeah, family were just like because I heard about it a good few months before we even started filming, and then obviously the filming takes place, and then a good 6 to 8 months later does the program come out. So we were keeping a lid on it for quite a while. So, but yeah, they were all really excited.
great, great, great. What advice would you give to, because we've sort of touched on it a few times this morning, to anyone that feels that they're not up to being a dog trainer?
The first thing I would definitely say is don't be afraid of making mistakes. The more practice you get with your own dogs, or if you're at a spot where you're trying to get more hands-on skills and you're trying to get into the training world, but you're not a dog trainer, it's just have if you've got friends who have dogs, practice. I mean, the thing is, the way that we train, if you make a mistake, it's not going to be that detrimental to the dog. If you make a mistimed correction like e-collar, you make a mistimed check, then yeah, you run the risk of something really serious happening. But if you mistime a treat or mistime a toy delivery or you miss something, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have that much of a profound effect on the dog. So, don't be afraid of making mistakes because you will make mistakes. And actually, one of the things that, again, only probably 2 years ago was kind of I was always under the impression that, right, when you put your videos out there, when you give people information, it's got to be like they want to know all of the good stuff, all of the information. And then I had a challenge set by my wife a while back with Nova,
It was so good.
and she just did not play ball one day. And I was like, I can't not post. So I was like, look, I'm really sorry, guys. We didn't get anything done. These are all of the mistakes that have happened. And the support, not so much
It
the
was
support,
brilliant.
but the feedback was like, thank God that you make mistakes as well. And that was an immediate switch in my mind. I was just like, oh God, people aren't bothered about it being polished and perfect. They want to know that it's real. And that's the big thing. So if you're getting into you've got a little bit of imposter syndrome or you think, oh God, maybe I should be like honestly, it doesn't matter because people like to see that even the professionals don't get it right all the time because it not only humanizes you, but it also means that if they get it wrong, it's not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just one of those things, and then they just work through it from there. And I've taken that now over the last couple of years, and I've really kind of adapted it into, as long as we set the dog up for success, if they make a mistake, fine. That's not, you can learn just as much from mistakes as you can from getting it right all the time, as long as there is a positive outcome for the dog. If you're just putting them in a situation to make them fail, then of course that's the worst thing we can do. But if you've set everything up first for the dogs to make it, or to be successful, and then they've made a mistake or then they've failed, they know where they've worked from and where they need to work to, owners as well. So yeah, I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you're new to the training industry, you will. You can't get it right all the time. Even now, as a trainer of what? I mean, I've been researching and training for 20 years and I still get it wrong. Still get bits wrong. So yeah, you don't expect you're going to get it right all the time, and actually just embrace it now. And I never did years ago, and I wish I had, because I probably would have let that side of things go a lot quicker, where I'm worried about, oh God, is this going to be right? Is it going to be enough for that person? And actually, people just love the fact that you fail, not because they're laughing at it, but because they're going, yeah, God, I know how that feels. I'm in the same boat.
If anyone wants to get in contact with you to come do whether you provide dog training wise or behaviour wise, how would they be able to reach you?
Perfect. So I'll let pretty much, because I run a lot of dog to dog reactivity stuff. The area that we've got is just set up nicely for it, and the work that I do over the years has kind of led us more to dog reactivity. But as we've already mentioned, we do loads of classes and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to just sit in on classes or just come and meet us, I'm more than happy for that. So obviously you have to tell us, because we'll end up having like 20 people just turning up on the doorstep. But they can get in touch with us at avondogservices.co.uk via the website, and there's a form on there to email, or just avondogservices@gmail.com, or any of the socials. Just drop us an email on any of my socials. We try and keep quite active on the socials these days, so we can always get back to people on there. But yeah, if they want to come and sit in and just watch, and we usually get people to get their hands dirty and do some helping out and practice work with dogs as well. So if anybody's interested, then you can find us there.
Adam, it's been absolutely brilliant having this chat this morning about
My
all
pleasure.
different bits and pieces of the industry. Um, it'll be a no-brainer not to ask you back at some time in the future.
More than
So,
happy.
be great. You're an absolute star, mate. Absolute star.
Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you.
That's it from us here at Dogs Do Speak. So it's goodbye from myself, Adam, and Samantha. Until the next time. But please, everybody, do hit that submit button. Submit that subscribe button, and so you don't get to miss any of the content that we put out. So until the next time, see you soon.